Lisbon building has been demolished. It happened just after 9 o'clock this morning, and our reporter Heidi Jokos has been covering that story, and she joins us once more. Heidi, I understand you're still on site. Tell us more.
Yes, Sally, we're actually literally on site. We've been given access to come and see the aftermath and what's been left behind after that 31-story building was imploded, and I'm going to move out of shot and ask my cameraman to just show you what's left behind. It's actually quite scary to look at. It's just a big pile of rubble. And of course, this goes 5 stories down deep, so it's really deep. And this is just an image to show you exactly what has been left behind after that massive demolition took place at around 9 o'clock this morning. We do understand that it was a really risky project that took place due to the close proximity to other buildings, and they were quite worried as to how they were going to do this. But we do understand that they used the waterfall method, which means that it was done in a specific stage so that when it did implode, it did not obviously fall over onto the other buildings. If you've ever driven in the CBD, you'll know that it's really close. All the buildings are very close to each other. So that was a very big concern for officials here who were part of this massive project. But you can just see how much rubble has been left behind, and they're saying hopefully by March everything will have been cleared up. So it's a couple of months until that happens, but already you can hear all these trucks and tractors cleaning up all the dust on the roads. The roads were full of dust. I mean, you couldn't even see the color of the road anymore. So they're already starting with operations, and this behind me is going to take some time, given the fact the depth of how far it had to implode. But just so you can see, I think it's so fascinating to actually see what once was a 31-story building and it's ended up looking like this.
It is quite incredible, Heidi. If we look at those visuals of the moment when the building imploded this morning, it was standing at one point, and then within seconds, it just, as you say, the waterfall of that building just collapsing. Quite incredible. But what I didn't know is that there's 5 stories underground as well. We understand they are going to be doing a rebuild. Is that due to happen in March when they've cleared the site, or are those plans still not that clear?
The plans are not quite clear as yet, but we do understand that the department is in talks. They have a project out. They want to get private investors as well involved in rebuilding this building to try and see what can actually happen here. But it's very important to note that a number of buildings that government owns and the department owns have been identified, and those various buildings have actually been identified, and of course many of them have been evacuated to not be there anymore. I just want to see if you can actually no, you can't, sorry. I'm just seeing if you can see the Department of Infrastructure building. We were actually walking here. We saw the Department of Infrastructure, and we were saying it's quite ironic that the Department of Infrastructure is in such a state, and they've just imploded this building. Perhaps they need to look at some of the other buildings. But we do know that there is a whole process, there's a whole project involved in the rebuilding of this building, and what could possibly come here, and other various buildings that have been identified by government that are unsafe, and of course to avoid any kind of tragic incident that happened at the Bank of Lisbon, which once was this, but now it's this rubble.
Yes, absolutely, Heidi. We've just played the visuals of that building coming down, and now we see you standing in all that rubble, and really it is quite a remarkable operation. Thank you so much, Heidi Jokos there. And of course, a very difficult and tricky operation because of the close proximity of the other buildings, but luckily everything went well this morning with